Welcome to episode 16 of the Rebel Rundown. This is Hayley and I'm Ben. We're going to be running through our normal monthly update, and then we're going to spend a bunch of time going through our Q&A questions that we put out on social media and for the members.
Yeah, this should be fun. I had a few members come up to me and say that they had re-listened to a Q&A we did last year, and that we should do another one. So put some question boxes out there. We got a fair few questions, a fair few really good ones, and then a few silly ones too. So yeah, let's see, I guess. And if you have any more questions after this, write them down, and then when we do another Q&A in a few months or whenever, maybe next year, you can know the answer in 12 months' time. Or you could just ask us. So yeah, before we do that, let's do our monthly review. So I feel like it's been super busy, and it's just going to be super busy. There's so much going on, but what happened in May?
The start of the year always feels crazy, and I feel like it usually starts to
taper out.
It just hasn't. So it's been good. We had a ring workshop a couple of weeks ago, or just
last
over
week.
a week.
Yeah.
And that was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed taking the workshops, and we had good mix of people, I think 13 maybe or something, jump in on that. Probably the highlight was getting people upside down and doing skin the cat progressions. Everyone could have a good go of that, and a lot of people were intimidated by it, but managed to get themselves upside down. A bunch of people, swinging or pulling themselves up into candlesticks, and
yeah, I thought it was cool to see people doing things they hadn't done before. And then I've even seen now, we've been using the low rings a little bit in class, and people who came look so much more confident doing it, and they obviously felt like they were working hard, because I've seen some people doing it in open gym too. So yeah, it was pretty good. Had a few first ring muscle ups, Hendrik did a strict ring muscle up for the first time. Jason, he's the muscle up king. He just can jump up and do muscle ups, but he did his first one. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. We look forward to the next one, which I don't know what it is yet. If there's any workshops you'd really like us to run, let us know. Yeah. Do you know what? Today in class we had the shoot throughs and some of the handstand stuff, and people really enjoyed that. So I think gymnastics-y stuff is really cool to do workshops on, and I could definitely see
we could do another pacing one soon. That was a really good one we did probably 2 years ago now. That was ages ago.
Yep.
We could almost do that soon. We'll have a nutrition one in a few months too.
Yeah.
That'll be coming up.
Yeah, we will. Which is going to lead into a 30-day nutrition kickstart. Yeah. Which more to come on that.
Yeah. We had Bay for a day on Saturday, which was really awesome. We had 5 teams competing at CrossFit Knoxfield, and it was awesome. Massive day. They were there from 6 a.m. until I got there at just after 12, and then we left at 5:30.
Yeah.
So freaking long day, but everyone did really good, and they all had a really good time. The events were actually quite enjoyable to watch, and everyone enjoyed doing it. It was packed. There was probably I think there was 13 heats with an average of 10 teams in a heat. Yeah, so that's 130 hectic. Teams of 2.
Yeah, 260 people.
A lot of people. So yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, well done to them. Shout out to Ruth and Al too. They won their division, the female scaled. So that was awesome. Yeah.
They smashed it. No, everyone I've seen and spoken to in the gym was just pumped with how they did, and the day as a whole. So well done.
And then we also had, was it last week or the week before? Week before. Testing week. So the end of our first proven cycle, we had testing week where we literally tested everything, which I feel we don't often do that. We test the lifts that we did throughout the cycle, but it felt in this week we did bench, deadlift, squats, clean and jerk, snatches. We literally did everything. And we saw so many PRs. We always see lots of PRs, but I feel with this, literally everybody PR'd. And a lot of people PR'd every single lift too.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I wrote down a few to note, Dan Robbins, he PR'd all of his lifts, every day. He just hit something really, and he was PBing by lots as well. His deadlift, he put 30 kilos on his deadlift. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Kathy, she hit an 80 kilo back squat, so that was a 6 kilo PR. Looked like she had more in the tank. Byron, he actually PR'd his bench. He hit on Tuesday in weightlifting, he did 116. And then the next day in CrossFit, bench was in there again, and he hit 120 the next day. So that was pretty cool. And then we also had a open workout that 13.5.
Yeah, it wasn't a retest for the cycle.
Yeah, but they'd
we'd done
retested it from. It was just kind of cool because we'd done it a few
did
years
a while
ago.
Yeah, in class, and yeah, a bunch of people PB'd that.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I think that was. We kind of forgot about our PR bell though.
I'll have to catch a few up on
And
that.
maybe I'll just ring it flat stick for the next week.
We had a weightlifting session, I think that same week actually, and there was like heaps of PBs in that. Like Al, she
PR'd everything. every day.
dominated. But there was one class where like almost I think everyone in there hit a PB on their snatch or their clean or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of cool progression going on in the gym.
Yep. Any last one?
Eco Bike Challenge. I think we must have heaps of people just waiting for this last week or day to get this one in.
I think we saw everyone who liked the look of it do it early, and now everyone else is like, ooh,
Scared.
yeah. But you're running out of time. We've got just over a week. So
what I would say is just keep in mind the overall leaderboard for the end of the year. And even if you hold a little bit back on this one, get it done, get your name up there, earn yourself some points.
And like you could do it like how I did it in the video where you just do a minute. Like you guys do minutes on the Eco Bike all the time. So like even if you just do like a solid pace for a minute, you'll still get a score.
To be honest, I feel like there's a lot of people who can go hard on it and they're not going to end up like Sean did.
Nah. Well, like Neil, he got 44 and he didn't look anything like what Sean did.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he probably has a few more calories in him, but like he was fine. I think people will be fine. And a lot of people we're gonna see a lot of people do it.
By
next
the time
week,
this comes out, there might not be much time left to do it.
Well, I think this might come out on Tuesday. It'll come out early next week because we're gonna do the newsletter on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because I go on Wednesday. So, and then by then too, we'll already have the June challenge out, which we're not going to tell you yet. Maybe I'll clip this and do another question box, see what people can guess. But I kind of like the June one.
It's a good one. It's less painful than the Eco Bike.
Yeah, I did it and it was really nice.
But it is longer, so that's as much as we'll give away.
Yeah, it was good. Man, don't mind my face too. I'm like drinking dirty water. That's what's going on over here. The bottom is the worst.
Specialty. Maybe that's the secret to your fitness.
Well, I mean, I've never had this before, so I don't know.
Things we've got coming up, heaps. Torian Pro is next weekend, which when this comes out, it'll be
this weekend
coming.
Crazy.
So that's super exciting. Hayley's pumped. She's in really good shape. She's been doing some run-throughs and lots of really good training. She's well prepared. We've got a huge crew coming up to watch. I feel like it's like 25.
Yeah, we should make a group chat. I keep meaning to do that, like a WhatsApp or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon, like, I mean, it's crazy. Obviously, I know the people, like, who are coming, but then, like, last week, or when we got the T-shirts in, so I gave Dave his, and even, like, Dave was like, oh, yeah, I'll see you in Brisbane. Like, I didn't even know he was coming, so that's really awesome.
So
like,
if you are coming and you haven't told us yet, too, let us know.
Yeah, because we want to know, and, like, hopefully, I don't know if I'll participate in if we do like a dinner or something, but like we could do a dinner with everyone. And I know Brooke like offered to have people over. So cool. Let us know if you're coming.
Up there, that's
right.
Yeah.
We've got Brooke up there, Tegan. Like I'm so excited to see Tegan. That'd be awesome. So that's next week. We've got 3 of the workouts so far, 3 more to come out. Should be fun though.
It's going to be awesome. And we've got the watch party happening in the gym that Saturday. Does it start at 12?
12.
Starts at 12. Bring a share plate of food or something, bag of chips, whatever floats your boat, and hang out and watch the elites get after workout number 3, which is a good one to watch. It's handstand walking, kettlebell front rack lunges, and legless rope climbs. And it's not going to be like a super quick workout, but I feel like there's going to be some good races toward the finish of that one.
I think the boys will be probably more interesting to watch than the girls. Like they're going to go, like they'll be interesting to watch them on the ropes.
Their
go
times
quick.
on average will be a little bit quicker.
The girls will still be good too. There'll just be probably a bit of a deficit between people who are really good at rope climbs and everyone else.
We'll see.
But yeah, that would be really fun. So if you're around and not at Torian, which is like half the gym, but that's happening next Saturday.
Community
that's wait, let's do the date because this is, what date is that? The 31st. The
Yeah, I
31st
think
of
that's right.
March.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. And the Community Cup coming up in June as well, in the middle of June. So that'll run on Wednesday the 11th, Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th in the gym. We're going to run it in classes. All the members can participate. You don't have to sign up online for the Community Cup, but you can if you want. If you did the Open,
Yeah, if you did the Open,
you'll
you
have
can,
an invite for
you can
that.
sign up. Yeah.
Go on the worldwide leaderboard as well. So that'll be cool. Wrap that up with another social event on Saturday the 14th at Lowell Plenty Pub.
Yep. So save the date. That'll be really casual, just good fun.
Yeah.
Lower with our crew is always fun.
And then Unity Weightlifting Comp, Friday the 20th.
Yeah. So I think we only have Eb signed up. I think Genty
No,
was...
Grange has.
Oh, Grange?
He's signed
Okay,
up.
cool.
Genty, I think she's going to. I
Yeah.
spoke to her this week.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you doing that? And she's like, oh, I think so.
Yeah, she told Eb she was 99% sure.
But I think Byron might sign up.
Yeah.
Someone was trying to push Al into it.
Oh, yeah,
There
that'd
could
be cool.
I think there'll be a few. I think somewhere between 4 and 6, 7, 8.
I got to say,
something
when
like
I
that.
saw the T-shirts, I was like, maybe I should do it. And then I remembered that I didn't want to do that. The T-shirts are cool. Colour Cartel sponsor.
Yeah.
Did you see him with the
Yeah.
athlete name on the back?
Custom tee,
Yeah.
get your name on there.
So cool.
You should put a nickname on there though. If you're
I think you could probably choose.
if you're gonna like get
Although
something.
at Down Under, they told us, because we got those basketball jerseys, and they told us that we could choose a name to put on the back, but then like we never got to
Yeah,
choose.
right.
We just got there and it had our last names on it.
What was Byron's team name at Bay for a Day? Something.
Snuffy. Big Bird and Snuffy.
Big Bird and Snuffy. You could get one of those on the back of yours,
Yeah,
Byron.
Sesame Street. But yeah, anyway, that's coming up. So if you do want to register for that, if you want to do a weightlifting comp, come have a chat to us, and hopefully we can get a crew there. We did it last year, and it was so fun. Like they have really good pizza there too. Like if anything, that's just a T-shirt and the pizza.
Hopefully the pizza's back.
Yeah.
again.
If there's no pizza there, I'll be Devo. That's for sure.
Hayley will be supporting people on the night,
Yeah.
and so will Tessa. There's a chance I'll be there for part of it, but I go on holiday the next morning, so it might be a push. But
Yeah.
we're gonna have some
We'll
good
be
fun
there
people
though.
there helping out,
Yeah.
get some PBs on the
Yeah.
platform.
It's going to be exciting. Big month, and then July is going to be big too. I don't know. Hopefully a little bit smaller, but just as fun. All right, Q&A time.
Let's do it.
So yeah, we put out I had a few different question boxes. I ended up making one that was like anonymous too, because I feel like when I like see question boxes on Instagram, I always want to ask questions, but then I'm like, are they going to judge me for asking the question? So the anonymous one was actually interesting because we did get a fair few.
Yeah.
A few of them were silly, but like there were some good ones on there too. So thank you to everyone who submitted questions. I don't have names on any of them. Well, there's actually one that I've got the name on. So it doesn't matter who it came from. We'll just answer it from everyone.
All right, first question. How old were you when you started CrossFit?
I think I was 2019. Yeah.
Cool.
When I started just like doing CrossFit like twice a week, I was like, 19.
Yeah.
And then like 20 when I started doing
Yeah,
it
that
kind of
still
properly.
counts, by the way. Some people are like, oh, I didn't start CrossFit till a year ago.
Yeah.
Because they
Oh.
didn't start training for
No, I definitely
competitions.
started CrossFit a long time ago than that. So yeah, 2019. So I guess maybe I might have been 18, nearly 19. How
Cool.
old were you, Ben?
I was like 21 or 22. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah,
It was a long time ago.
21 or 22, and I'm turning 38 in September. So been doing CrossFit for a while.
He just started a year ago too. He's new, aren't you? Getting your
Yeah,
beginner PBs.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's how old we were. Next question. This is kind of cool. We had I didn't say any names, but this is the only name. We had Amy Alessi submit questions, which was kind of cool. Like, I think Ben, you know her like well from
Yeah, I
the
know her
past,
pretty well,
and she's a really good athlete. So
Yep.
she asked
She's a
Benny,
legend.
"What a legend! What do you think of the sports / methodology now?"
I'm going to assume it's kind of referring to the elite level around the sports side of it. I still really love it. It's obviously, it changes a bit over the years. I think that for the most part, it's really cool. I did think the last CrossFit Games was probably, like they had a lot less funding, which didn't help, but it was probably a little bit of a step backwards over what, for the most part, for a long time felt like a really cool progression. It's kind of got bigger and grander and more interesting to watch. But obviously like this year, the qualification system's really different. So, I mean, I'm just answering this in regards to like the game season and stuff, but I really liked quarterfinals. I thought that was really cool for gyms, and I thought it allowed like the more elite people trying to get to like semis to really enjoy the open, and that made that more stressful for them. So some of that I haven't loved, but overall I think it's really good. I think we've seen a pretty distinct shift now that the way that things are getting tested and the way that that's going on through the different levels is that there's become more of an emphasis on endurance and stamina than maybe in the past, where like you've seen a little bit more like heavy barbells or higher skilled gymnastic stuff kind of take over a little bit. But I don't mind that. I think being really true to kind of CrossFit's methodology, I think that kind of plays into that a little bit. I might, her second question too.
Wait,
probably
I've
ties
got
into
something to
my
say
next.
too.
Yeah.
I think it definitely like, obviously I haven't been around for that long, but like it has been changing a lot. And I think like the sport side, like at like grassroots level, like in the gym, it's, well, since I've been in it, it's kind of like the same the whole way through, which is cool. But then at like the elite level, it's definitely changing. And did you know that the tickets for the CrossFit Games are like, no one's bought them?
Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they did do one cool thing. They giving out athlete discount codes where the people use and the athlete gets a little kickback, which I thought was cool.
So last year when Daisy qualified, they struggled to get tickets because they were like all sold out. Whereas,
unfortunately there's been a bit of a...
But then I also think that it's that, like with last year and like people not wanting to support CrossFit anymore, but also like where they have it. Like the city of Albany is like lame.
There's some, I think, there's some unfortunate things that have gone on that have impacted that. And obviously the events at last CrossFit Games wasn't the start of that, but it was kind of like created a bit more of a larger divide. And so we're in a little bit of an unknown territory in terms of the elite side, like to see where things go over the next couple of years. And CrossFit's up for sale. There's probably going to be a new purchaser of that soon. And we don't know what that might hold in store for things as well. But unfortunately, there's been a bit of a divide. I think there's been some little step backs, largely due to the funding and then moving it to different locations which haven't been as good as ones they've used in the past. But I'm still really supportive of it. Like,
I think it's good. It's just interesting. Like every year is so different.
Yeah, and I think that I'm really hopeful anyway that we're going to get a new purchaser of CrossFit and some things are going to change and there's going to be a bit of a revival and we're going to see the sport take a big step forward over the next couple of years. And personally, my opinion on this as well, like I think the sport side of it is really important for the community and for the other message that CrossFit's trying to get out, which is around health and longevity. I think the sport does a lot to bring people into that, and it's really up to affiliates to kind of harbour and foster their own way of impacting people's lives at the general population level. But I'd love to see, if we get new owners and come in and kind of like push the sport side of it. I think it trickles down into the rest of it. So that's my opinion on that side of it.
All right, and now Amy's second question was, Ben, do you miss the old days like I do? And then she also said, good luck, Miss Hayley at the Pro. So thank you, Amy. Hopefully you're actually listening to this.
Yeah, I do. And this is, I guess, I think, she's referring to sort of the sport side of it, local competitions. And obviously these days we have the Torian Pro and it's called semi-finals, but we used to have regionals and that used to be held every year at Wollongong. And as much as I love the Torian Pro and I think it's a great arena and stuff, I still prefer Wollongong. And when that used to pack out and, that final day of qualifying for the CrossFit Games was really cool. And I, as much as, I love touring as well, it's still a little bit different. And so that's one example. But at a local level, and I chat to people every now and then about this. It's like all the local comps these days are just like pairs and teams.
Like they're kind of like money making.
And it used to be like all individual or with like a side of teams. And I thought that was awesome. And it gave, it still gave everybody an opportunity to compete. But I think a lot of the time these days, it's like gyms are using it as a way to create revenue. And, you know, we've got teams and pairs and they're coming in and doing 3-4 workouts that take 5 minutes each on average. And we used to go to individual comps, like me and Amy would compete at things like Schwartz's and the Moorabbin comps and down at Frankston with Rob Slimmers. He did do pairs comps, but they were different. You know, they were very differently run to a lot of what you see these days. And the community used to be a little bit more tight-knit, especially if you were in it from when I started the gym. There wasn't heaps and heaps of CrossFit gyms everywhere, and we kind of all knew each other. And, you know, you'd all go to 3-4 local comps every year and catch up and see one another. And that side of it I do miss, and I think that's what Amy's referring to. And I'd love to see, we don't have the space for it in our gyms, but I'd love to see some gyms kind of take on a bit more of like this is an individual comp, and you can have some different levels in there and stuff, but take it more down that path, make it a little bit less about turning money over and make it more about putting on a great event that's going to do
letting
a really
athletes
good
compete.
job of testing fitness.
Yeah.
Like a well-rounded test. Like I'd love Benji Schwartz to go and put on a Schwartz challenge again. That was, those comps were the best, and we'd get people from not just all around Australia, we'd get a bunch of Kiwis flying in, and it was kind of like, you know, like a down under type vibe down in Melbourne, and it was awesome. The 2-day comp, you know, it would be programmed like the semi-finals level. It was really cool.
Yeah, very good. Next one, again, is for you. If you could go back to the start and do something different with the gym, what would it be?
I thought about this question beforehand because I thought it was an interesting question, but for the most part, no, I wouldn't, because it doesn't matter what you do, you're always gonna like do some things that you decide need to change or make mistakes, and that's how you learn. The one thing I would definitely change if I had my time again was when I started the gym, I would have seeked out a business mentor. Not necessarily in the fitness space, but just a really good business person, and learn about business from the get-go, rather than it probably taking me 5 years to figure out that I really needed to learn more about business. But from like a training perspective and coaching and everything we did in the gym, I, for the most part, really wouldn't. Like, yeah, you get to where you are by taking those journeys, and yeah, I hope that answers that.
Very good. Are you going to ask for the next one?
Yes, this is a good one for you. So how do you get through injuries and still maintain fitness?
You just do what you can, I guess. Which was actually interesting, because I was speaking to a member the other day who has a little bit of an injury, and she said to me, she's like, how do you like train? Like, do you just never get any injuries? And I literally was like, I wish. Like, and she's like, but you just always train, like you're never stopping. And I'm like, yeah, but I have things going on all the time. I think you have to be like, I'm probably not the best at doing it. Like I'm kind of hard, it's hard to convince me that something's actually injured until it's like really injured. So, but what I would say is like, be okay with not doing something that's going to make your injury worse, and find things that you can do. Like if you've got a sore shoulder, there's no reason to like stay at home for 3 weeks and do absolutely nothing. Like you can come in and you can do lots of like stuff with your legs. You can do lots of heart rate stuff, like you can bike, you could run. You probably couldn't ski, or you might not be able to row, but like, you know, there's nothing wrong with the bike erg. What else could you do? I don't know. You just find stuff that you can do.
Yeah, you just got to adapt. And yeah, I think when we get injuries, it's really easy to think like it's only happening to you, and it's affecting you more than what other people have to deal with, and it's not true at all. Like everyone goes through
Well,
these
and everyone
things.
definitely thinks that. Like when this member said this to me, I was like, she definitely thinks what I always think, where I'm like, does anyone else like feel like this? Like I feel like I'm constantly sore. And like obviously she's really sore and she just thinks that I feel like I don't have pain because nobody knows, like you don't know.
Like, yeah, like you have your times where you're like, oh, everyone else, like the people you're competing with, is doing all this stuff. And I'm like, do you think they're not like all got some kind of issue? Like you see what you see, but there's so much that you don't. And I guarantee like everyone's dealing with things. Hayley is an example, like coming into the Open and the touring qualifiers, like she wasn't able to ring muscle up for like a little while. And she's only really just got back to it now. Like she had to go and do a workout that had ring muscle ups in it without having touched them for probably at least a few weeks and not train them regularly for quite some time. And that kind of thing is completely normal, especially at an elite level, but you know, filters down through all the levels in the gym.
Well, and it was like with like New Zealand, like, like remember in New Zealand, because I was thinking about my bar muscle ups the other day, I'm like, man, if I could do bar muscle ups like that, like that'd be really awesome. Because like in New Zealand, I couldn't do those 8s unbroken.
Yeah.
But I also had not done a bar muscle up in like 4 months since my neck.
Yeah. So it's normal. I think honestly the biggest thing is your mindset around injuries, and we're really good at making them into bigger issues and challenges than they actually are. And just being able to like be okay with having some soreness, some limitations, goes a long way to actually helping you heal. And you know, for members training in the gym, like come and talk to us. Like we'll be creative. We've been through it all. We know what it's like. We know how to manage it.
And trust like what we say too. Like you might be doing a workout that kind of looks different, like really different to what everyone else in class is doing. But like, you know, you'll still get a similar stimulus or a different stimulus that's just as good for you, even though it looks a little bit different to what everyone else is doing. Like be okay with that.
And at least you're moving. And like, hey, I think you mentioned this before. It's like, if there's some things you can't do, that doesn't mean you can't improve. What it does allow you to do is put a little more effort and time into things that you can do and see those accelerate. So yeah, pin it back to mindset, being okay with it, being optimistic, believing that your body's gonna heal, talk to coaches. You know, we're more than happy to direct you in the way of, you know, if we think it needs like clinical assessment or, you know, some form of treatment, rehab. And if we think we know some people locally that can help with that, we'll direct you to them and we can work with the information that they give back to you as well. So
yeah,
don't be too hard on yourself.
And don't be like me.
Derail you.
Yeah, and don't be like me at times where you're like, I'm fine, and then you're not fine.
Yeah.
Like just substitute stuff.
That's a good point. Like a lot of injuries, niggles, if you get onto them early and start doing the right things for like a week or 2 or 3, a lot of things you can just get on top of really quick.
Yeah.
If you let it linger and you push through it and you gradually make it worse, you're just going to push out the time it takes to fix the issue and heal it. So be proactive, don't be shy. We all go through it. It's normal, and often it's not that big a deal. We're often good at making it a bigger deal and making it worse for ourselves.
Yep. All right, how do I juggle CrossFit, running, and weightlifting when I love them all?
You do them all.
Yeah.
That's CrossFit.
Yep, exactly. You do all of them. Like, I think CrossFit is a great way to train because you can be good at running, you can be good at weightlifting, and you get to do it all just through the program that we have in the gym. I think, like, you know, people think, especially when they're doing long distance running, that like they need to do like a complete, which I think at times like you can do a full long distance running program, but if you follow the class program and then do like 1 to 2 long runs each week, like you're going to improve your long distance running as well.
Yeah.
Like every time, obviously I don't go run like half marathons, but I probably could. Whenever I do like 5Ks or 10Ks, I don't run. I run in the gym. Like I run in workouts whenever I like have to run. I always do well. Like I'm not training my running, and my running is like better than I used to do cross country when I was in America, and I'd run every day, and my running's way better than it was then because I'm stronger, I'm fitter,
Yeah, more well-rounded.
Yeah.
Look, it's one of these things that you do need to be a little bit careful, because if you're, trying to do so much and you're not fueling yourself and you're not recovering properly, you can dig yourself into a hole. And obviously, there's always a little bit of a trade-off. So if you're training all of those things at once, your trajectory for improvement is going to look a little more subtle, but over a long period, you still make significant gains.
Yeah.
And I'd also say that you need to be careful of trying to make your trajectory too aggressive, because you could put all your eggs in that one basket, like say, I'm just going to run for the next 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And what happens there is that you might see a significant improvement in your running. You might also get some overuse injuries along the way. And what you're also going to do is now dig yourself a massive hole when it comes to your body weight strength, your speed, maybe your mobility, your power, all these other things. And honestly, I think for the average person, you want to try and keep all those things, slowly improving together, but you can emphasize certain things within that to better prepare, whether it's a weightlifting comp, whether you're doing a run.
Yeah.
Like Hayley said, you don't need to go and run 5 days a week to get better at running. Most of your improvement will come through doing 1 to 2 running focused sessions a week. That third one, you're probably getting a fraction more. Fourth one, it's very minimal again. But again, you're sacrificing a lot of other things and increasing the risk of, running-based overuse injuries.
And I also think it depends on how good you want to be at each thing. Like if you're like, I want to be the best weightlifter ever, then maybe you have to sacrifice the CrossFit side of it and the running side of it to be the best weightlifter ever. Or if I want to be the best, I'm going to go run like a 2.5 hour marathon, maybe you have to consider cutting some other stuff out. But if you're happy just being good at everything, you can definitely balance all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point.
So I think you can do them all. You just need to manage your time well, recover well, eat good, and just stay committed.
All right, next question. I don't hear people ask this much, but how are you both?
It's a good question. Yeah, all right.
You're
Getting
all right?
there? Yeah, I'd say so.
I reckon you're more than all right.
I'm good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've got Torian next week, so I'm excited. How are you, Ben?
I'm great. I think I'm always pretty good, but I'm really good. 2 little kids at home running amok. That's fun. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
I'm loving, what's going on in the gym at the general level. I really do love and get excited about these higher level competitions for like Hayley and Tessa's got international weightlifting comps coming up, and they're really exciting for me to help them prepare for, and pumped to see how they go and perform and see all their hard work pay off. But yeah, overall, I'm really, really good. That was a great question, Hendrik, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, it was through Hendrik. That was from Hendrik. Thanks, Hendrik. Very nice. And I'm excited for Hendrik. Get to come to Torian, be in the party house. It's going to have a lot of CrossFit planned on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
That was so fun. I'm so excited. Man, it's going to be good. They better have YouTube on the TV.
You just got to make sure you're up at the top of the
I told you, that's why I have to
screen time.
That's why I have to run with Tia on the first event and just recreate that last year. Anyway, all right, next question. You can ask this, Ben.
How is Hayley so fit? Secret sauce?
Yes, barbecue sauce. That's the secret.
Lots of barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I do.
What do you put it on?
My wraps.
Anything else? Pizzas?
Oh yeah, pizza. But if I'm having like burgers or stuff, it'll be tomato sauce. But I definitely go through barbecue sauce, probably about triple the rate.
There you go. Barbecue sauce, people.
Yeah.
It's your ticket to fitness.
Damn right. All right. If you could only have one genre of music to work out to, what would it be?
It would be indie rock. And I thought about this question too, because I was like, oh, it's a tricky one. It's a good question. It's a tricky one. I would pick indie rock because it'd be probably between that and rap music for me, but rap music can get a bit overwhelming at times. I feel like you get a bit of a mix of things in indie rock. And Hayley's like, what is that? And I'm like, I searched Spotify for an indie rock playlist and it pulled up, and all of a sudden, like every second one of those songs are like on my like list. So I was like, there you go. There's the answer.
Mine would be like alternative pop. Is that what it said?
Yeah, which is not that dissimilar to like
No,
indie
yeah,
rock,
it's very
but
similar. Like just chill, bit of like I'm just obsessed with like Noah Kahan, Hosier, Quinn, like that sort of
Yeah,
music.
that
Just
stuff's
chill.
all good too.
We don't do bangers in here. In class.
Every now and then.
Not when we're training. Not often.
Nah. We train. We're nice and relaxed when we train.
People think it's like when people were in here watching me do like the open workouts, like Neil was like, "Oh, have you got your special songs on?" I'm like, "This is just the music we listen to all the time. Like just chill, keeps you nice and calm." All right, will anyone beat 58 calories on the May challenge? I'm gonna say no.
If Sean O'Halloran pulls his finger out, he could give it a nudge maybe.
I think he might be our best bet, but I don't think he'll do it.
Yeah. I'm like tempted to try it, but also scared shitless.
You have to do it, but you reckon you won't go that hard? Because if you don't do it, you're going to drop right down to the bottom of that leaderboard that you're currently at the top of.
It's like I can't win anyway.
So you can still technically be on the
Yeah,
leaderboard.
look, I feel like possibly I could beat it, but I'm not confident. I feel like I'll probably end up a calorie or two behind.
I don't think Ben can
and
beat
in a
Sean.
world of hurt.
I think that Sean will win the men's, and I think that Al or Riss.
Don't say that, because that eggs me on to fucking give it a crack.
I think Sean will definitely win the men's because Ben will chicken out, and I think that Riss might give Al a run for her money. So I'm excited to see that. But
All
that's
right.
not 58 calories. All right, next one.
What types of things are good to eat, and how much should you eat before a workout?
Good to eat. Easily digestible carbs for a workout. If we're talking like before, like, you know, not like lunch where you eat that like 2 hours, an hour and a half before. Like if you're talking just before a workout, you want just like something with carbs, easy to digest. So jam sandwich, Milo pouch, a banana, a Milo bar. And you could have, depending on how quickly you digest food, like, you know, anywhere from 30 minutes to like 10 minutes before if you digest it really quick. Yeah, but you want like easily digestible carbs. So think kind of like processed food. You don't really want like protein or like fats. So I wouldn't go like smash a Rokeby directly before your workout. It's probably not right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that's like, you know, for you where you're training so much and like you need heaps of fuel, it's definitely something you want to use. For the average person, if you're training 3 or so days a week,
Yeah, but say they're
if
like,
you're not eating like, if say you're training early in the morning or whatever, absolutely. If you're though training at, I don't know, say you're doing the 12:30 class.
or the 9:30 class where you've just had breakfast.
Yeah, like you probably
you
don't need to get something in
But
there.
say you've like had lunch at like 1 and then you come in to train at 4:20, like that's
Or
probably,
5:30,
or
yeah.
5:30, like
Yeah,
you'd probably
for
want to
sure.
have something to eat before
Yeah.
that, and you'd want it to be, if you were to like if you want to have protein in that, I'd probably just have it like an hour and a half before, but otherwise you could just have something a little bit carbier and then have your protein after.
Yeah, if you're getting
Yeah.
hungry and you're like
Yeah.
ready to come in and do a big session, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like either Sean or Steve asked this.
Is Hayley single?
Yes. Next.
Okay. How do you approach training / a WOD, or what do you prioritize when recovering? Sleep treatment is far from optimal. Geez, I'm struggling to read this question out. Showing up and just getting it done or just moving is not fun. Can you actually increase performance under these circumstances?
So I feel like now that I know who asked this question, I'm going to answer it differently than I
I don't
would
know
have.
who asked it.
Okay, you weren't there when we were talking about this just
Oh,
before?
were we?
Yeah.
I must not have listened.
So I would say that you can definitely increase performance when your sleep recovery, whatever, is not optimal. I think it definitely just depends like on how, you know, cooked you are compared to like how you feel, what your CNS is like, what your mindset is. Like I think there's just a lot of things that play into it. If you're like really tired and like your central nervous system is cooked and you've got a lot of stress, there's lots of things going on within your life. Like I think having the mindset of like being okay with just moving when you come into the gym, being kind to yourself is probably going to get you the best results.
Yeah, I guess my thing around this is like, is this like one-offs here and there, or is this like something you're dealing with consistently?
Well, the person who asked it, she has actually had a lot of good success over the last little bit.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you who it was?
So do you think it's more like one-off type thing? Or?
I would say that it's probably like, you know, this member who asked this has a small child who disrupts her sleep, you know, doesn't have a really steady routine. Like it's probably more you know, doesn't have time to get treatment. It's more of a like, it's been ongoing sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think in that case, it's definitely worth, again, it's like one of these things we think that we have to train at our higher level of capacity to improve, and it's not true. And it's something that like I talked to Hayley a little bit about, where it's like, you know, you don't have to be doing everything and you don't have to be pushing everything hard to improve. You can work on the quality of how you're moving, you know, working on like keeping your breathing under control in a workout. There's still a lot of physiological changes that you can see by training where you're really in control and not kind of like pushing yourself to extreme levels of like intensity or exhaustion and stuff like that. So if you're not sleeping and recovering really well, then you need to be really careful with coming in and trying to push things too hard too regularly.
And I think a lot of the time too, like that may have more of a negative effect, because if you put the pressure on yourself to, like, you think that you need to push harder than you are, and like you've got this pressure of yourself that you're not performing to the standard you should have, you're going to constantly feel disappointed and not enjoy your training. Whereas if you come in and you just kind of take the pressure off, train at a level that feels good, you might actually surprise yourself that some days you have like really good days. Like you could use Tessa for an example the other night.
Yep.
Apparently she messaged Ben and was like, I don't know if this is, I don't think she'd really care, but she like didn't want to come train because she must have been really sore or
she was sore and tired.
Yeah. She didn't want to, she like wanted to have a rest day, and Ben was like, no, just come in, like you'll be right. And came in, she like overhead squatted 100. Like I don't think she woke up that day and was like, I'm going to go max out my overhead squat. Like she actually came in and just had no pressure on herself. She was just going to take it as it came and ended up like surprising herself.
Yeah. And like I deal with a bit of what this question is talking about. Like my sleep's not ideal. Like my little one tends to wake me up at 5:30 in the morning most days, and I tend to not get to bed early enough to get a really good sleep. And you know, Hayley can attest to this. There's plenty of days where I come in and I'm like, I've got to take today easy or do less or change things. But I understand that I can do that stuff, and doesn't mean I'm taking backward steps, and I still have, you know, good days in here. But yeah, just where life's at the minute, like I'm not coming in every day with this expectation of training the house down. It's more of, and I also, for me personally, I'm not training to try and constantly try and improve. I'm pretty comfortable with like, hey, if I can maintain a lot of the stuff that I have, my fitness and my strength and my movement, if I can keep doing that for years and years to come, like in comparison to the average person, I'm just excelling more and more and more without actually getting better to where I was like a day ago or a month ago or 5 years ago or anything like that. So,
And this kind of reminds me of like what me and Riss spoke about a few months ago, like when we did the podcast with her, about how like you just have to like know what stage of life you're at right now. Like, and that doesn't mean like right now as in like this age. It's like in this month, like this week, where am I at the moment? Like what's going to suit me right now, and that might be different to what it was last week, but it also might be different to what it is next week, and like that's okay. You just kind of have to meet yourself where you are. Otherwise, you're going to end up not having all that fun. So yeah, I think it definitely is. You just need to like have a good mindset and like the right expectations.
Definitely.
All right. Is Neil really as bad as Ben says he is?
I don't say Neil's bad. Come on, who asked that?
Guess.
Neil.
Yeah.
No,
Neil.
I'm probably hard. I am hard on Neil. Sorry, Neil. And I said this to him last time.
He's hard because he cares.
Yeah, I said, I'm only hard on you because I care. And sometimes I'm like, are you actually fucking listening to me?
Oh my God. In the workshop the other week, I was like, all right, Ben, you need to not yell.
No. Yeah, no, I do. I'm like, there's a few things in the gym where like Neil's wanting to get better and he's putting some work in. I'm like, if you can just get this couple of little things, you're gonna like jump ahead. And I can see him so close.
Yeah.
And I just, sometimes I'm like trying to work with him and this isn't his fault or anyone's fault, but like sometimes just like, you know, when you're coaching, and this is something I'm aware of when I coach as well, it's like, how can I get what I'm trying to get across to this person, and then they take it on and they apply it. And there's been plenty of instances where he does, by the way, too.
I feel like Ben just gets like, he gets a bit frustrated because you can tell that Neil wants it so badly and like is trying so hard.
And he's so close.
And he's so close. So like when the dots don't connect like right then and there, Ben's like, oh my God, like you're literally right there.
Yeah.
So like Ben just gets a bit frustrated. But Neil and Ben's relationship.
Don't take it
really
personally, Neil. I do. I genuinely care. I'm like, come on, you've got this. But he's had some great improvements in the gym lately too. Like, you know, going into the Bay for a Day comp, he was like testing out his 1RM overhead squat from the ground. And I think this is the second time he had to play around with it. And I'm like, oh, what'd you get? I think he got like 70 kilos and that was a PB for him. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's have another look at it today. And he's like building up and I'm like, he did 70 and I'm like, 75, easy. And then I'm like, all right, 80, got 80. And I'm like, look, you know, you probably can get 85 in the comp. And so, you know, when there's people like that, they want to chase performance.
What did he do at the comp?
Either 80 or above.
Yeah, right.
I know that.
Nice.
I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, like when there's people who like train regularly and they really want to improve and like I get on board with that. So it's just me trying to push you along, help you reach some of those goals soon, Neil.
All right, guilt-free snack suggestions, please. I feel like this is an interesting question.
Oh, I don't get guilt about it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I feel like if you're like, I don't think there are any, like, I feel like it's just you can eat anything, but it's kind of like, you don't want to just have a bag of chips every single day.
Yeah, it depends. Again, this is a pretty,
like there's no
depending
snack
on
that
where
you can just
who
eat.
you are, where you're at, and what you're wanting to achieve, that's going to dictate like what is a guilt-free snack. And what
like
I
if
would
you
recommend,
have 10 of the guilt-free snacks, like that's, like that, I don't know. I find it's a difficult question.
Yeah, like if it's like one-offs, if you're like eat really clean overall and you eat something that you go and grab a Snickers bar or like whatever the hell it is, eat it and enjoy it and don't feel bad about it. But yeah, if you're grabbing a Snickers bar every time you fill up petrol and every time you go to the shop and your goal is like you're carrying some unhealthy weight that you need to lose, yeah, you need to try and cut that out. But yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky one. I can tell you what some guilt-free snacks are probably for everyone, and those are things like eat a banana.
Yeah, fruit.
Eat get some natural yogurt, mix some chocolate protein powder into it.
Yeah. Like anything that's, you know, like those rogue beers, like that's a good thing to have after training. Like up and goes. You can have like a protein bar. Like I don't know. I just feel like it depends on when you eat it and how much of everything you're eating. Because I say that, I'm like, yeah, I would say that rogue beer is probably guilt-free. But if you're having one of them every day, like, and then you're also having your protein shake and you don't really need it, then like, yeah. So I don't think that they're like, I just don't feel guilty. Just don't like, you know, you don't need to eat like a shitload of food.
All right, next
It's a hard
one.
question. Yeah,
if
here we
I
go.
can lift heavier than my gym crush, would this make the relationship awkward, as there would clearly be a top dog in the relationship and cause tension?
I feel like these two are definitely from Steve Harvey.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think your gym crush is too worried about how much weight you lift.
It would clearly be a top dog in the relationship and cause tension. Oh, God. Keep adding weight to your lifts.
Yeah.
Don't worry
You
about
might
your gym
just
crush.
impress them, you know?
All right, the last one. If I'm fitter than my gym crush and I say to them, you take my breath away, does that then show them that I'm not very fit? Yes.
Yes.
Don't ever say that. They're gonna automatically just think, oh, you must be unable to complete workouts. Slow.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up with that question.
That was the last one. Thanks for the questions. Yeah, they would definitely. You reckon they're Steve Harvey questions?
I don't know. Could be.
I think that they might be. That's it. They were good questions. Some of them were pretty good. Hopefully you
the
guys.
answers were okay.
Yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of that, and never be afraid to ask questions anyway. You can always message us or chat to us in the gym, especially the ones about like snacks and training, and if you're feeling tired or stressed or whatever, come chat to us and we'll be able to help you out to know what the best way to approach your training is. And yeah, we do have a nutrition challenge coming in a few short months that will give you a better idea as to, you know, what to eat, when to eat it, and how much you need to eat, and how to fuel yourself. So yeah, more to come.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a Torium Pro, well, it should be Torium Pro recap.
Yeah.
Be fun. See ya.